Hi.
Hi, welcome to Concrete and Spirit.
Oh my god, I forgot that was the name.
Yeah,
Does that mean we're talking about spiritual stuff too, or just random
I don't know when I was trying to do another podcast with somebody else, the name that we
stuff?
came up with,
Who shall not be named.
was super cool.
Mm.
She put it into ChatGPT or something and she came up with a bunch of them and I pressed real hard to get that name. And then when I realized it wasn't going to work out and I called the whole thing off just because it just wasn't working out. And then I realized I had to come up with another name. So I was trying to find something similar. So I really liked the way that one sounded. Um, and so I was just looking for like different options, but since basically all we're going to do on here is talk shit to each other and talk about whatever we want to talk about. But we both are on a spiritual journey because we're members of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we live like in a big city and live like urban lives, but we're no longer urban camping. For if you don't know, that means homeless. It's just it's a fancy way of
It's a
saying homeless.
fancy way of saying homeless in a tent.
So I just thought it was like a good mesh of like all the things we would
A
want to
good
talk
meth.
about. Mesh.
Oh, mesh. Sorry.
Why would I say meth right now?
Ah, I do want to know. Is this amethyst? Amethyst.
Yes, it is amethyst.
And this is lapis lazuli.
I don't think so. I'm not sure what this is.
It's pretty.
Thanks. It came in that.
Mindful souls.
Yes.
I want to get that so bad because they keep
It's like $40 a month or something like that.
Yeah, and right now they're advertising it for like 50% off.
Yeah, it's cool. I really liked it. I stopped getting it because I don't remember where I stopped getting it. I go through these phases where I decide I'm going to be super cheap and I don't need things like that, so then I stop buying them.
That's actually a thing, like going on a no spend thing.
I started doing that a couple months ago. I called it my what did I call it? My spending fast? No. Basically, especially the way that TikTok is turning out, it's like it's just the home shopping network now, right? And that's how everybody makes money on it. And you it's like constantly like you're berated with things that you need, but you obviously don't need because you've lived without it forever. And because I have a lot of what's it called, expendable income. I was just like, I would come home and I would have all these Amazon packages. I wouldn't even know what they are, right? And I'm like, and it would give me not anxiety. I don't really get it, but
I would had that kind of anxiety.
I was just like, I'm like, where the fuck am I gonna put all this shit now, right? Because the reason it's so barren here is I just moved into this. Well, I didn't just move in, but
it's so beautiful.
I moved in. My other apartment was half the size. I didn't have room for all the shit I kept buying. It was shit I didn't even remember what it was, right? And it's been a day because I have Prime, so that's how much I didn't need it. So it was like, what am I doing with my life?
I like this. Okay, I'm gonna get it.
Just buying everything constantly. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So I made a commitment to stop doing that. And so now I have a folder on TikTok and Instagram that's labeled purchase. And so if I see something and I would have purchased it before, I just put it in that folder. I probably have over 100 items, videos in those folders, and I have no idea what a single one of them is. That's how much I don't need this shit, but I would have paid for it. I would have. Yeah. But no, so if I still haven't moved into this place, and it's been 3 weeks now? No, it's been a month. I've lived here for a month.
Amy, you are moved into this place.
I have impulse
You have
control issues.
stuff on your shelves. You have stuff in your kitchen. There's
None of
stuff
it's organized.
here.
There's just stuff everywhere. It's terrible.
No,
None of that belongs there.
Sure.
None of that belongs there. That all belongs upstairs.
Why does it all belong upstairs?
Because it's all my witchy things.
But it could all be in here.
No, that's for living room items that I use on the couch. Look at, you know how anal and crazy I am.
Are we going to do witch stuff up there?
I'm thinking that might be the best space for it. I'm not really sure
We should do witch stuff in your attic space.
That'd be cool, but I'm going to use that to store things.
Well, you have 2 attic spaces.
But it's also super dark.
It
and
has
a ton of space in there. For us to do that kind of stuff.
The center of it, the silver round thing.
What I'd like to get is one of those you know those old school hutches that have like the cabinets on the bottom and then on the top it has like the glass. Yeah. So I want to get one of those big ones, like just old, like rickety, old antique looking one, and then paint it super cool. And I was thinking of putting that up there, but now that I'm thinking about it, there's just simply not enough room up there because that's my art space, and I want it to be my art space. So I'm thinking
they have those all over Facebook Marketplace.
I know. You saw the sick ass dresser I got.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that maybe either against this wall, because either against this wall or against that wall. But basically, I'm gonna get a big couch to put there. I'm not gonna get the circle one. You don't like it?
I do. I like it, but I think it's really impractical.
What do you mean?
I think that it would be more practical to have it like cut in half and have half of it be an ottoman that you can take apart.
Oh, so like when people come over, we're not all laying on top of each other? Like, come join me in my circle.
She's like, okay, let's have an orgy.
This is not my.
While we watch this
come join my cuddle puddle.
Wait, what? Did you hear what I just tried to say also?
No.
I said, let's have an orgy while we watch this TV. I'm not sure what I was going.
Terrible. Can you turn that off?
Oh, sure. Can I look at it first? Okay.
Of course, it's just the douchebag.
Is your burger bigger?
It's cute. I don't know who that baby is, but he's cute.
It's my niece, and it's a girl.
She's adorable. Put her in something other than gray, then. If you want me to know that she is,
anything.
I know that it wasn't you.
Because
I'm just
she's
saying.
in another state.
But if you don't want me to misgender, and I use that term loosely, not in the way that.
Let's just not.
Let's not.
Okay. We can bypass.
If you don't want me to call your little boy a little girl,
he's not my
they
little
all look exactly the same.
I have no children.
Don't do that.
I can do what I want.
It's probably gonna be so loud. I guarantee you.
I can whisper too.
No, if when they're less than 6 months old, they all look like little boys. They're little bald-headed weirdos. Like, that's fine.
Oh, it says on there Smalls.
What?
That's what the shirt says. Smalls.
What are you talking about?
That gray
but
shirt
it's
says
gray.
Smalls.
It's gray.
Okay.
So
some people don't like to put a gender to their baby.
You said
no, we don't have to talk about
it. Then stop it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Then don't bring it up.
Okay, don't talk about it anymore.
Anyway, so have you seen those 70s playpen couches? They're so sick.
I'm not sure. And it sounds also orgy.
It's very, we could still cuddle puddle on
it. I don't like that term.
It's basically, they're like modular cubes.
Modular cubes.
Yeah. So it's
I know what cube is. I don't know what modular is.
It can be like moved around and separated and turned into whatever shape you want it to be.
Oh, like a sectional.
Yeah. However, like most sectionals are like an L that you have to have it. Like if you move from the place that you lived when you purchased it for whatever reason,
it has to go back into an L shape. Is that what you're saying?
it won't fit in any other home you ever live in for the remainder of your life. It's like some weird curse that L-shaped fucking sectional couches have.
Sectional, got it.
I did not say sexual.
Okay, well, you've been talking about cuddle puddles this whole time.
Well, so look at
okay, I'm listening.
The modular, it's basically like a bunch of cubes, right? And some of them have backs and some of them don't. But if you line them up properly, it's 3 with backs, and then 3 with backs, and then there's 2 cubes that are like in the middle, so they're all the same size. It makes a big square. But you can separate them out and, pull the ones without backs out of the middle, and then people could sit on it like a U shape. They're cool looking.
Okay, I like that idea.
However, the one that I found is sold out because they're all in these ugly ass brown and gray colors, and I don't understand that.
Have you been to like a furniture store to see
what Living Spaces?
We like Daniels, and we also like Bob's Furniture.
Have you been to Living Spaces?
Yes.
That place is mind-blowing.
Yeah. I've been to Living Spaces, I think.
There's a huge one that Raul and I went to. I'm sorry. That we found like the couches that they're amazing. The thing is, I need to go back to Living Spaces because they have the exact fabric that I want. I just have to find the couch that I want now because there was these double chaise lounges that were, oh my God, they're all down. So you sit on it, it's the most comfortable experience.
So I have the fabric you want, but not on the couch you want.
I don't know if they have the couch I want because I had yet to determine what I was going to do because I wasn't physically living here yet. I just had like a vague memory in my mind of the shape of the space. And those chaise lounges I think would look weird right there. I don't, chaise.
There's a song called
The chaise. The chaise. I don't know. I'm sorry.
There's a song called Chaise Lounge.
Is there?
Wet Leg.
Don't care.
It's really good. You love it.
Probably not. It's
you
probably
probably
a lot
would.
of your screaming punk rock music that I can't
No, it's
stand.
actually 2 women, and they're
Screaming?
Nope, they're just going like a.
I'm just observing.
I made you do that with your head, though. I don't
What,
think you noticed.
did I do
Yeah,
it?
that's all I can do. Because right now they're kind of just talk. It's fine. Drooling on myself. You're so pretty.
Thanks. When I was on the streets, there was this one period of time where my lips were so chapped and so bad that they were like white. It was really bad, and I couldn't. This towards the end of my run, but I couldn't. They were just so chatty. They were so bad. And my friend Donahue gave me like this lotion or whatever, and just kept making me slather it on. And ever since then, my lips, they just get really bad and they peel. And I feel like it's like permanent damage from meth use and being in the sun all day.
My lips get really bad when they get chapped too.
Yeah. Because well, you see, I drink so much water, so I know it's not dehydration.
It might have been back then, though.
Back then it was dehydration and being
Lack
in
of
the sun.
nutrients.
Lack of nutrients, being in the sun. I don't know. It's wild. Somebody's jerking off next door? There's very loud vibrations happening.
That was weird. It was so short.
I think it
was so short.
I think it was the
Is that
water
bad?
filling up in the ice cube trays, maybe?
Oh, maybe. That could have been it.
I know I've heard the sound before, and when I heard it before, I knew what it was, but for some reason this time I can't think of it. Oh my God, I'm back in that phase of having dreams. I can't tell if it actually happened or if it was a dream.
Oh my God, I love those dreams.
No, I don't, because it's
Maybe I don't remember.
What'll happen to me is it's consistently like every night, and I start making plans with people in these dreams, and then I'm showing up to places I shouldn't be at, and like for today, I swear I was standing in the bathroom and Raul was talking to me and telling me how he was going to find out today if he had to work for the rest of the week, that he was going to get the rest of the week off, he thought. I was like, oh, that's cool. And when I was at work, I texted him. I was like, did you tell me you're going to might get the rest of the week off, or did I dream that? He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I was like, oh, looks like we're back in the phase of me not being able to tell the difference between dreams and reality. This is going to be a fun next couple months. Because I get it's bad, and I can't. They're so vivid and they're so clear. Then I have to often I'll think that I had a conversation with somebody that I didn't have, and sometimes I'll have to stop and think okay, do you remember exactly where you were and what led up to and then normally it'll be kind of fuzzy or hazy, but that one was I know exactly where I was. I remember having the conversation. I kind of think he's gaslighting me. Fucking with my mind.
It's that bad? They get that real?
I literally
to where you think he's literally gaslighting you?
I'm saying it somewhat facetiously, but I really I know that I had that conversation with him, and I feel like he's just forgotten that we did it. But I know that just simply can't be the case.
I just don't think that that's the kind of person he is. So.
It's not. Okay. It's not that, but it was so real that I know I had this conversation with him.
Now, if we were talking about another person,
it was Johnny for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
I was gonna try not to say the name.
You can say his name.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's supposedly sober. I'm like, obviously he's not on step 9 yet.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean, direct him into impossible. Is he going to try to skirt around that by what? Burning the letter to you?
I don't know. I'm wondering. So it's either one of two things. He's lying and he's still getting loaded. He's lying and he's not working the program and he's white knuckling it. Or he's actually respecting what I told him. And I don't know if I told you, the last thing I said to him was, if you don't go to detox right now and you stay with Rachel, then I do not contact me ever again unless you have a year sober, are recovered, and have sponsees.
Oh, so even if you do get to step 9, don't bother.
I said that's just exactly what I said to him. So it could be that he's actually going to wait that year, because I told him to fuck all the way off and keep fucking off all the way up, fuck off mountain. And when they get to the sign where it says you can't fuck off anymore, keep fucking off more.
I feel like I wish I would have said that to Kim, because she didn't even get it why I stopped talking to her.
She knows why you stopped talking to her. She just pretends
she
like she
literally came and cornered me in the kitchen that day, as if nothing happened.
What do you mean?
When I was getting my stuff out of the fucking fridge.
But you let her. That's the problem.
No, I didn't let her.
I thought you said you were being cordial to her after that.
No.
Oh. No.
No, that was it. That was it. After she came back, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Both of these people are drug addicts that like to get loaded and lie about it, and then treat their friends like shit, and
Like blame them for
blame
it.
them, manipulate them, and lie to them, steal from them money directly out of their wallet, things of that nature. Just so you're caught up as to what it is that we're talking about.
Mhm. Yeah, she came into the kitchen, knew that I was in that fridge, like digging through for something
Mm-hmm.
in the bottom drawer, and she came in, grabbed the fridge door,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Excuse me." She's all, "Hi, Karina."
Ew.
I was all, "Hey." I'm all, not trying not to show my teeth. I don't care.
Okay.
It was just proving that I don't care.
Yeah, she's a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm. Bet she moved back to Massachusetts.
Well, I don't know. I didn't even know she was from there. So
You renting them out?
I was thinking about buying a laundromat.
I think it's a smart idea.
And I was doing some research, and it's like 93 or like 96% of all laundromats succeed in like new businesses. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a fucking passive income right there that
Super passive.
I'm thinking about doing it.
Oh, yeah,
I
and
need to
you
start doing
do.
research.
You can have little cleaning ladies.
Yeah, I'm like, I could go clean it on the weekends, not a big deal. Like, because I'm trying to, I thought about doing affiliate marketing. Like, I'm trying to do something to supplement my income so that eventually I make as much money as I do working for Angel
On the side.
on the side so that I can just paint, you know? I don't know. Do you think I should buy a laundromat?
I think it's a good idea.
Would I qualify?
Shut up.
Dude, I can get like a business loan or something for that. And I was on this website. There's people selling them for super cheap, like one in Cyprus. And it's already a functioning laundromat.
Right.
I'm like, why not?
Yeah. As long as it's a decent neighborhood. I would say decent neighborhood.
Because I would have a bougie ass laundromat and everybody would want to come to it.
What would make it bougie?
I would have seating that's not those fucking round plastic chairs sitting on metal rods. I would have like comfy couch, like comfy seating. Something obviously durable, but like something like more like that, like something comfortable to sit on. Do like, you know, those little free
Would it be
libraries?
covered in plastic though, just in case somebody shits on them?
Well, yeah, you know,
Okay.
somewhere for homeless people to sleep. Okay, so I was thinking, it's nicotine gum.
I know, but you're just gonna grab the whole fucking pack.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need more later. I eat a lot of this stuff.
I
It's
know
fucking
you.
terrible.
It's
But you know
terrible.
what? I did not get up this morning and smoke any of anybody's cigarettes. I've not smoked any cigarette at all today. Any puffs of anything.
When was the last stuff you took?
Yesterday.
Okay.
But I've been struggling for well over a month stealing Raoul's cigarettes and smoking them in the morning. I have developed a 1 cigarette a day habit, even though I quit vaping in fucking July and didn't vape or smoke for months. So this is a win for me.
Don't make that face at me like as if I betrayed you.
No, that's
And well, which I
your-
did.
Yeah, I had nothing to do. I wasn't even thinking about
That
that.
was guilt. It was guilt.
Oh, that's all on you, bro. So, what would make it bougie?
Couch.
Comfortable seating.
Okay.
Right. Every time you go to a laundromat, it's those terrible plastic chairs that are, you know, it's like there's never anywhere comfortable to sit or anywhere to sit at all, for that matter. I'm always like, so there's that. Then I was thinking like a little free library.
You would.
Right? Why not?
Okay.
Something to, because look, what
Something
do you
to
do
read, sure.
when you're going to do your laundry? You need something to keep you busy, right? Charging stations, because people like to be on their phones sticking around. But if you're on your phone for 3 hours, like, so charging stations.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about getting like, you know, they have those like cheap game consoles that have like all the old school games on them that are just directly into a TV, or something like that, maybe for kids.
Sure.
And not like, you know, it's always painted like that color that looks like the walls used to be white, but they like somebody smoked in there for like 40 years with all the windows and doors closed. It would be like bright, nice, beautiful colors. It would be like tastefully decorated.
Okay.
What else could make it bougie? I don't know.
Would you give them like free supplies?
No.
Would you give them free dryers?
No.
That's a thing. Free dryers are a thing.
Where?
I would say at least 60% of, 65% of.
I think you're making things up.
I'm not making
I've
things
never
up.
seen
That's
that
a
in my
real
entire
thing.
life. Never
That's a
seen
real
that.
thing.
Never seen
It's
it.
real.
I've never seen it.
You can look them up so that you can find free dryers.
I've never heard of that.
Well, take it from somebody that still goes to laundromats because I don't have my own laundromat in my
Maybe in
apartment.
Riverside.
No, in I mean, Anaheim. I've seen them in Santa Ana. I've seen them in.
Well, the answer to that question is no, because I would be getting all new machines because they make these machines now where you basically they upsell themselves, right? So like if you want to extra like pre-wash or extra clean or like whatever, they can choose to spend more money to wash a different way.
And no quarters, right?
It'd be all quarters. What are you talking about? Isn't
Because they use cards now. You can
well,
use
yeah,
cards.
some people still use cash. So I have a change machine, quarters, and cards.
Okay.
And then what I've also seen people do is that after they get the laundromat up and running, then they start running a laundry service out of their own
Like a
laundromat.
fluff and fold.
Yeah.
I love the fluff and fold services.
What do you mean you use them? Have you used them before?
I have. My best friend's mom in high school ran one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was like $1 back then. It was like $1.25 a pound, which is actually, it's like pretty good price. But people think it's a good price, and they'll bring you all their fucking laundry, and that gets hella expensive.
Right.
To do $1.25 a pound.
Well, yeah.
You don't think
you
that,
weigh
like,
it before you wash it?
Yeah, they'll weigh it for you.
Before you wash it. Yeah, imagine like grimy, dirty.
Yeah.
Like...
And oh god, it gets gross.
Yeah.
So you have to hire somebody to do that shit for you because I am not going to touch somebody's some dude's shit stained, like skid marked boxers from work. No, I will not.
Put on rubber gloves and throw that shit in the washing machine.
I can barely do it for my own shit stained fucking G-string. Kind of make it a little sexy.
There's nothing sexy about talking about shit stained underwear, regardless of the type of underwear. In my opinion. In my humble opinion.
The last time I shit my pants, I had to wash literally everything from my socks to that bomber jacket.
Was there poop on the bomber jacket?
Well, I had to put something down on my seat. I had to wash.
How does that happen? I just don't understand. Like,
well,
I've like sharted a number of times.
Putting together my hour and 25-minute drive to drop the child off.
Okay, wait.
A protein drink that I drank when I was leaving my house, which I do not do anymore. I drink it 30 minutes prior to leaving because I have realized that has something to do with it. My gut issues, like I said, the hour and 20-minute drive, which is the first thing I said. Then trying to find a place that has a bathroom after I drop the child off because I can't use the school bathroom. So like two gas stations just after dropping her off do not let you use the bathroom because of the neighborhood that's there. There's a restaurant that I could go to, and when I pulled into that fucking that parking lot, turned off my car and opened my door, all of a sudden there it came. And it hurts me really bad, both my stomach, but mainly my butthole. It hurts my butthole really bad to squeeze hard because of the hemorrhoids that I have. It hurts me like
there's got to be a resolution for the hemorrhoids. Like I know that they like come and go.
I have multiple resolutions, but they don't always work.
Okay.
Like the wives that I have. Hi, sorry.
There's a television coming in here right now.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
I don't feel happy about that. However, I love that man very much, which is why that monstrosity is entering my home.
Did he just carry that in here himself?
No, it's probably his dad. Probably has a dolly. His dad's helping him.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah, they have a dolly. TVs are so ugly.
It's just a TV, Amy.
Have you seen how beautiful my home was?
Literally, I do. And it's not going to make it less beautiful.
Yeah, well, in my mind.
Oh my God.
I'm very...
literally one of the most insane people I've ever met.
Good.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things about you.
I know I'm crazy. I
Because
can't
I'm
help
also
it.
crazy in a different way.
You want a snack?
It's weird. I can do that.
You're gonna eat all my espresso beans. I
Probably.
have snacks.
What kind of snacks?
There's Cheez-Its. There's
She's all garbanzo beans.
tofu. I have vegetables and hummus.
What kind of vegetables?
No, the radishes are at work. Bell peppers. I think I have some carrots. There's Cheez-Its. There's peanut butter pretzels. I have some chips.
What kind of chips?
There is a variety of chips in little snack packs, and then I think Raul has some other chips in a bag. I don't. These are not my snacks. These are his snacks. So I just know there's chips. There's an assortment of chips.
Okay, let me look at the assortment of chips. Hold, please.
So, do we want to finish the hemorrhoid? So you
No,
poop your
I'm good.
pants because
Okay.
your hemorrhoids keep you from clenching your butthole.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
My sphincter. Yes. I don't know if that's
Because
what
you
a
wanted to say
sphincter
sphincter.
is.
Okay. Did I tell you about a food saver?
No.
God, it's so glorious. You know what a food saver is, right?
That's the one that's like
It vacuum
seals?
seals the
Mhm.
food. I remember them coming out like I think it was like the 80s or the early 90s and
Mhm.
like the infomercials and thinking it was the coolest thing ever when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at Costco and they had it for $80, the food saver and like all the bags, like all the stuff. And I was like, because I'm going to start, I had like all these batch meal recipes I want to make so that way I can just pull it out and like have,
Yeah.
because I'll meal prep for me and I'll make 2 meals and I'll just switch them off all week. I don't care that I eat the same thing, but I feel bad doing that to him. So anyway, I was getting all the stuff for these batch recipes and it was like, Ziploc bags are like expensive and things get freezer burn when you put them in the freezer. So basically I'm gonna make like these big batch recipes and then like do a bunch of different ones like over the course of the next few weeks so that there's like 10 different meals in there, like different options. And then I can just pull one portion out and heat it up and that's our dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already done 2. I have enchilada casserole and chili. Food saver is super cool. It was very exciting to use that thing.
Oh my god, so exciting!
It's really cool. It's fun.
You said
to
it was
use.
$80.
Yeah, it was $80. It was on sale. They're like $120 normally. Can you believe my other apartment complex was trying to charge me to resurface the sink and the countertops? I'm like,
What?
that building was built at least 40 fucking years ago, and that sink is from when it first got built. I'm not paying. They had a $600 deposit. So when you go through the itemized statement, it goes through, and then it gives me the $600 credit. There's like a $400 credit basically that they owe me. Then they put the cleaning and then the painting, and then when that is on there, then they still owed me $136, and then they just put resurfacing kitchen countertops and resurfacing sink. I was like,
What is a resurfacing?
I don't fucking know. The kitchen sink is like the white enamel. There was gouges in it that they clearly just put paint on when I moved in. I didn't note that on the documentation because we all know how old the building is, and obviously they just put paint on it. But so you can set it to collections. I'm not paying $140. Fuck you. Keep the $600. I won't fight you on it, but I'm not paying that.
Wow. They're all yeah like. Oh.
Well, then
I can't.
this part too, they send me pictures of everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pictures of the countertop, so they can't. Somebody already lives there. And Amanda used to manage like do the management office or whatever. She's like, yeah, you can fight it because they don't have any pictures of it. Like they have to prove that it needs to be done, and there's no photos.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they didn't want to have to fucking pay me money. I told them you can keep my $600, right? I don't give a shit, but I'm not paying you anymore.
What the fuck is wrong with them?
They're assholes.
God. Enjoy every person that lives there moving out because of fucking Walkie McWalkerson.
Right. Oh, I found out he was a tweaker.
Of course he is.
I didn't tell you about that.
Fucking called
I knew he was.
shit.
I knew he was.
Called that shit.
So, my apartment that I lived in before, a new neighbor moved in upstairs. He's so bad, and I complained for so long that my apartment complex actually told me, you can break the lease and we're not going to charge you extra if you find a new place to go. That's how bad it was.
They had to have known.
Well, this has come to find out literally, like, we were like taking the last of like the boxes and everything. My neighbor, we were in the elevator together, and he was like, oh yeah, my brother lives directly above me. And he was like, that guy is super weird. Like, I can't remember what he did something like he's obviously like, there's something wrong with him. Like he was out, what did he do? He like went outside and like hosed down the sidewalk in his underwear and then like left a wet towel. Some wild ass shit. I was like, oh, he's on meth. That explains everything.
Yep.
Explains everything.
Yep.
And I told when I left, when I was like my final complaint, before they finally told me I could break my lease, I was like, all I'm asking you to do is to do something about it. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to move out and the new people that move in are going to have the same issue. And then you're going to know that I'm not the crazy one.
Uh-huh.
Well, good luck.
So enjoy.
Now nobody lives above me. However,
Literally.
somebody was running on the roof the other night.
Shut the fuck
I'm
up.
dead serious. There's no way there wasn't somebody on the roof. Me and Marlo were like, what the fuck?
Running?
Yeah, they were in our house that way.
Pitter-pattering.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Probably tweakers
weird.
living up there too.
Ew.
Sorry, homeless people. We can figure out how to get on the roof of a building. It's a great spot. I used to live on the roof of some buildings in Santa Ana, actually.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah.
I remember you showed me the building, I think.
That's where my friend Janelle lived.
When we parked for that art show.
Oh, the art walk?
When we took the pictures,
Yeah.
our lovely glamour shots.
Mhm.
Those were cute. We looked like crackheads, but they were cute.
Yeah, they're perfect. I need to figure out what to do for dinner. Let's make this like broccoli casserole thing.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Another savor meal or whatever you're gonna. What
Yeah.
are they called?
It's called a food saver.
No, but what are you calling the meal?
They're batch recipes.
Batch recipe.
You make like a lot of them, and then so Monday I made chili. Tuesday the chili turned out really well. Sunday night I made chili. Monday night I made the enchilada casserole, and now I have 4 meals in the freezer.
Okay, so wait. So the batch recipe is yielding how many? So
3 total dinners because this man eats like the portion of like 3 or 4 people. When I would meal prep, I'm like, oh, like I would meal prep for the week, like my lunches and my dinners, and he would be over, so I'd be like, it's dinner time, so we can have some of the meal prep. After he was done eating, I would have like 2 meals left, and that was gonna make 6 or 7 meals for me for the whole week. Like that's how much food he eats. It's wild. He eats so much.
How is he so little?
I don't know. I guess because he's he's active all day. He's a welder, so just like fuck you, bro. That's such bullshit. I eat like nothing. That's
So
wild.
technically, each meal should be serving about 6 meals, but he eats for like.
So
3.
what's in the freezer for 1 meal for both of us? It would probably be 3 or 4 meals for me.
Okay. That's why I asked you to be my sponsor, was because I'm like, I needed something like that. Because I've tried nice, I've tried soft, I've tried like best friend. Like it doesn't work for me. I needed somebody that was gonna like cut me off
and tell you how it was
and tell me how it was.
Well, I think that's the other thing that people make the mistake of is they think that I'm like gonna bully them into doing their steps, and I'm like,
That's not what I need either.
right. Well, I need somebody that's gonna be hard on me. I'm like, I'm not gonna be hard on you. I'm gonna tell you the fucking truth, but I'm sure shit not gonna bother you. Like if you don't do the work, that's on you. Like I'm not your
babysitter.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. Celebrate Recovery is designed. This is why I would never do it. I could go to Celebrate Recovery as somebody that is trying to stop injecting meth into my veins. I say that specifically because that's what I used to do.
Same.
And I could be sitting next to somebody that is trying to recover from a caffeine addiction. And sitting next to somebody that has a porn addiction. And sitting next to somebody that has a time management problem. Right? Like, it's like the most mundane, lame, this sounds fucked up, Christian problems, right? Like, not to say that Christian have dumb, lame problems or that there's a problem with Christianity, but it's very much like this wholesome, people like me don't belong in Celebrate Recovery. Like,
right.
You know what I would, like, I remember my sister asked my dad to speak, and he was like, Crystal, I don't know that that's a good idea. And I remember him telling me about it, he was like, it was just so weird, like, alcoholics like me don't belong in places like that. My dad was super Christian.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I was cracking up.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't belong in Celebrate Recovery. Like, that's not.
Could you imagine us in
Oh
Celebrate
my God,
Recovery?
we'd get kicked out.
Like, in all due respect,
Yeah, if it works for you,
like
cool.
totally. But like, could you imagine?
It'd be terrible.
I'm pretty sure we would catch on fire.
I don't have enough like self-control to like act right in that kind of a setting.
I don't have enough self-control to not say cunt, bitch, or fuck.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I was thinking.
I'm trying
So I'm
not
like,
to say it right now, and I just
in a recovery setting, talking about my disease, like, I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to say stick a needle in my neck? Because
Wait,
if not, then I can't go.
I'm like, can I share about the fact that I used to let tow truck drivers pay me $40 to look at my ass while they jerked off?
Right.
Like, is that appropriate in church? Probably
Am I allowed
not.
to talk about that I have no gag reflex for money? Like,
Right? It's just fucking inappropriate.
weird and terrible.
You want to talk about the time that I stepped in my own poop? Fuck.
Great story, by the way. It's a
It
great
is a
story.
great story. So stupid. Or the multiple times that I've chugged other people's urine, including my own, thinking it was beverages. Every fucking time.
Or what about the time that I used fucking gutter water to do a shot with? How many times have we done that, Amy?
Did I ever tell you about the time that I was using the morning dew off the leaves?
Yes.
Oh, it was great.
You felt so
I was one with
nature.
Tweakers at the very least are resourceful.
My God, if we were in Celebrate Recovery, my sister was talking about considering doing Celebrate Recovery. I was 20. Amal, I understand that you love God, and I understand that you consider yourself a Christian. I understand all of that, but people like us, we don't belong in those places.
Right. Well, like, I don't know, have some like common decency and care for the Christians that are there.
Right.
And don't subject them to that.
Like, Connie, don't you remember that time that we spent like 4 hours in my friend's garage trying to suck up dirty cottons and try to hit each other with the same, like, trying to hit each other with the same fucking shot over and over and over again with the same dirty cottons for 4 fucking hours? I doubt those Christians.
Yeah, that's not what Celebrate Recovery is about. It was like my dad said that, like, I'm like, Dad, you read the big book, right? And he's all, yeah. I'm like, okay, you read the Bible every morning too, right? And he's all, yeah. And I said, well, if you read the Bible every morning, why do you read the big book? He said, because God made the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous for people like me because the Bible is not enough. It's perfect.
God, everything he says. Everything Steve says.
Is he still talking to you?
No, but I feel like no, but I just feel like everything you say is something.
Yeah, he was recovered for 35 years, over 35 years.
I just feel like there's so much that you say that he says that is him saying it.
Yeah.
Whether it's coming out of his mouth or coming out of his heart through your mouth. See.
What?
I said, see. That is a great story.
You guys are so fucking dumb.
That one time that we thought you put your dad's ashes in a fucking grocery bag.
Why the fuck?
And left him on the side of the fucking street.
No, I didn't. Okay. I didn't leave him on the side of the street. First of all, it's not what happened.
We know. That's why I said we thought that. We thought that.
But it wasn't on the side of the street.
I keep smacking the shit out of this.
I'm moving. I had a bag of protein powder in a Sprouts bag because I got it at the Bennett Sprouts in a wagon getting ready to be moved downstairs. And I leave these fuckers unattended for like 10 minutes. And I come back and come to find out that for some reason, even though my dad is in an urn on a shelf and has been for several months, and they all know it, they are of the belief that this may be my dad in the back.
We were of the belief that this could be part of, maybe it didn't all
What exactly happened?
Okay, so we picked him up.
No. What happened? Start from the beginning when you saw the protein powder.
Okay, so it was in a bag, so we didn't know it was protein powder.
Okay, but start at the beginning.
Okay, so it was in the wagon. I picked it up and I felt it to see what it was. and it freaked me out because it was such fine consistency, like ashes.
And if you've never touched human ashes, it's like gritty, grainy sand.
And I would have never known that because I've never touched ashes of a human being. So I was all, Haley, is this Steve? And she was like, Haley goes, oh my God, is that Steve? And her boyfriend, Raul, comes up behind Haley. And I was like, Steve's in an urn though, right? Like he wouldn't be in a plastic grocery bag. And I was talking directly to Raul at the time. He's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just part of his ashes. Maybe he didn't all fit in the urn. And we
Now, let me just pause for a second so you could hear how fucking much my boyfriend loves to fuck with people. That man is the person that put all of my dad's ashes in the urn. So he knows full fucking well that this is a bag of protein powder.
He's such a fucking asshole.
Continue.
Anyway, so I look at Raul with huge wide eyes, and then I look at Haley, and Haley's already looking at me like this, and we're both maybe it is part of Steve. So now we're walking around with this bag full of possibly Steve in our minds, thinking it's possibly Steve, probably is. And I went and I was like, why is he in a wagon? Why is he in a grocery bag? Why is he not in something beautiful? So I put him on the counter. We filled up the wagon, we let it go, and then somehow later we found the same bag full of probably Steve on the sidewalk near the curb.
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened, because then was it Moni that came in and said it?
Moni was sitting in the chair, and one of us came in from bringing him in from the sidewalk.
Not from the sidewalk. The sidewalk happened later.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't remember where.
I don't know. Maybe you did bring him in from the fucking sidewalk. I don't know. Because this all happened before I found out what was going on.
Anyway, so I'm pretty sure I saw him on the sidewalk near the moving truck. And so I was like, what is Steve? I bring it up through the door back into the apartment because I thought that it was Steve still. And Moni goes, Steve.
Well, because when I walked in the apartment and the protein powder was sitting on the kitchen counter.
So what is this?
I'm the one that put it in the fucking wagon because it needed to go to the new apartment. Because even if it was my dad, it still needed to be moved. So that's the thing that baffles me about this whole situation, right?
They could have sat next to you.
So I'm like, what the fuck is this doing here? So I'm like, I distinctly remember putting it in the wagon so it could be moved. Because the wagon was filled with odds and ends that didn't make it in a box.
Okay.
And I think it was you that came up to me and started to tell me how it was my dad's ashes. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's fucking protein powder. My dad's ashes are in an urn, and you know that. So then she starts to tell me about what my boyfriend said to her, and I was like, he's fucking with you because he's the one that put his ashes in the urn. All of them. And then he comes sneaking around the corner laughing his ass off. Fucking so
Such
stupid.
an asshole. But it was fucking hilarious because you're right. Because then then Steve ended up down on the sidewalk again. And we were still calling him Steve by this.
Yeah, so now they call a bag of protein powder Steve, which is obviously my dad's name.
And the protein powder is probably long gone by now and out of the bag.
It's not in a bag any longer, but it is still in my apartment. It is now in an old powdered peanut butter container in the cupboard. And my dad is right there in the blue urn like he's been this entire time. Sitting behind his chest.
But the funniest part of the whole story is Moni going, Steve!
Yeah, they're so crazy. And I think Raul's explanation was, I'm never going to miss an opportunity to fuck with somebody. I believe that's what he said.
I'm sure that is going to be the highlight of all of his days from now on, including us, when it includes us.
Oh, I'm sure he'll do something to fuck with you in the future that'll be even better. So I wouldn't bet my money on it.
He's probably going to put more ashes of Steve.
Well, he's really good at it because he's like so sweet and like, yeah, la-di-da.
Nobody
like when even though you know he does it, like you still fall for it every time.
He's all, maybe he didn't fit. Maybe all of it didn't fit in the urn. I didn't know that fucking Raul put them all in the urn?
Yeah, Raul did it because I couldn't.
Oh, gosh, I bet.
When I pulled his ashes out of the you know how I ended up with his ashes, right? This poor man. I didn't tell you this story. Oh my
I don't
god.
think so.
So I got him cremated. Ashes were sent to my stepmom. Several months later, because my dad died in November, right? So we'll meet for my sister's birthday, which is March 1st, right? So this is what, 5 months later? November, December, January, February, March, 4 months later. We're all at Rutabagas, where my dad and I used to go get dinner, and we're done eating dinner, and Melody's calling me to the back of the car for something. I don't know if I had to put something in there or what. I think she was just showing me. She points in the car, and in the car is an urn laying on its side, and there's a bag, and there's just tons of shit back there, like trash or whatever. And she points at it, and I was like, "Is that Dad in the trunk of the car?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What the fuck, Melody? Like, why do you have him rolling around back here?" She's all, "He doesn't care." I love her. She cracks me up. And this is the best part. He wasn't even in the urn. The urn was just back there. He was still in a plastic bag, in a box, in a paper bag with handles stapled shut from the crematorium. So I was like, "Did you want me to take that?" And she said, "Yeah, get it out of my car." That's how I ended up with my dad's ashes.
Jeez.
Yeah. So when I went to go transfer them into the urn, when I touched them, I got this jolt of like electric shock, like wave through my body, and I just couldn't do it. So Raul did it for me.
Start crying.
No, it just felt weird. I can't touch dead things. It feels like it
Was
feels
it
like electric shocks.
See?
Yeah, exactly like that.
I had to take the opportunity. Since you said it didn't make you cry, I had to take that opportunity.
No, it didn't make me cry. Just I don't when I touch, like, I can touch like meat from the grocery store. I think maybe because it's been dead for so long. I don't know, but like I had a guinea pig that passed away, and I went to go take it out of the cage because like dead things don't bother me. And when I touched it, and I got this shock like up my arm. Yeah.
It must be because you're almost a telepathic.
Cool. Sure.
It must be because you're clairvoyant, audiovoyant.
Audio voice is not a thing. I'm not sure. It probably has something to do with spiritual gifts. Yes.
Hearing buoyancy.
Nope. Not it either.
What is that?
Clairvoyance is clear seeing. Clairaudience is clear hearing.
Clairaudience. There it is.
Claircognizance is clear knowing.
Clairaudience.
Clairsentience is clear sensing. Like,
Feeling.
yeah. There's a other one too, but I don't remember what it is.
There's a lot of them actually.
Yeah, there's one for every sense.
Oh, so there's only 5.
It's in the clair
Smelling.
clairescence.
Oh,
and that's tied with your sense of taste.
Wasn't there? Oh no,
What?
I was thinking
Herbala.
herbalescence. I was like, isn't that a shampoo?
Yeah.
Clairescence.
Herbaliscence.
Clairescence.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with that. I don't know. I just don't like touching dead things. It physically like hurts me.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like electric shocks.
So I heard something cool.
What?
So, have you ever heard of the fae, like fairies?
Yeah.
Um,
Who hasn't heard of fairies?
no,
In like a goddess, a deity sense?
A deity
yeah.
sense? Okay, so
I've heard good and bad. I've heard that they're so mischievous that you shouldn't be fucking with them at all. I've heard that if you give them gifts and you like cater to their whims, that they're very helpful. I've heard
they can be. So there's all different kinds of
you
them.
leave them like trays of milk or something.
Milk, honey, cupcakes, breads, like sweet breads.
Okay.
So there's like fairies and like every like what is the word I'm looking for? Like every there's different kinds of fairies. Like brownies, they will help you.
I was
like
a brownie.
anything.
I never made it to Girl Scout though.
I think I did, but I don't remember.
My mom couldn't afford it. Anyways, all right.
Brownies will help you like with your chores and stuff if you leave them offerings.
Okay.
But they do it at night. Like
the shoe guy?
Uh-huh. Like the Keebler elf, yeah.
No, Keebler elves make cookies, my love.
Oh, like the cobbler. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, the story
Shoe
of the old
cobbler.
man in the shoe or whatever.
And then the fairies would do something like you know you set that you know you set your shiny ring right there on the table, but the
Right.
next morning you came out and it's gone. And then the
Right.
next morning you walk out and it's the same exactly where you
Like
put
these
it.
fucking microphones?
Yes.
Yes.
Like you know exactly where you put it. You don't put it anywhere else.
Right.
It was gone and then it was put somewhere you know you didn't put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is like they say is like
They're mischievous. They
Yeah.
like to mess around.
But you can work with them. Anyways, they say like there's certain ways you can see them. And one of the ways is to look between your cat's ears. Is to see the fae.
Like here on their head, or
yeah,
like look
to like
inside
look
their ear
in
balls.
between their two ears, like on like in between the ears. And then there's a couple of other ways that I heard, but I've just seen her ears that made me think of
She gets really weird when I stare at her for too long. She'll look at me and then she'll like walk off like, fuck you.
And they all, you know how they say like when your pets or your babies or your kids are always like playing with something that you can't see, they say that could be the fairy realm,
Or evil demons.
or evil demons. Usually, if it's your animals, it's the fae.
That makes she watches.
That's what I was saying, because you were saying she was running pitter pattering like when she does.
Oh yeah, that
stuff
would
like
make
that.
sense.
And
Yeah.
then also another good way to leave offerings for the fairies, because they're like a nature outdoor like greenery type sense of thing, is like you can make cute little fairy houses in your gardens.
Have you seen that movie about the kids that have the photos of the fairies and made the fairy houses?
Mm-mm.
It's an old movie. I think it came out in the 90s. It's really cute, but it's based on a true story. And these little girls, I think it's in Ireland maybe, they have photos of fairies. And I think still to this day they couldn't debunk the photos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say that like the one that I was listening to, her name is Heather Lynn. She works with the Fae realm, but she just makes little like 3-sided bark tree, like little fairy houses, and puts them in her garden.
Oh, that's cute.
And like and then she puts like she'll dye moss like a color and then put it inside the little bark.
She dyes it a color?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes you say shit, I'm like,
I think she said it.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Why?
She dyes it a color? What else would she dye it?
Like just put regular moss in there?
Right, but you said she dyes it a color. Like you followed it up with a color.
Oh, like
and that's how I'm like, as opposed to what? Like,
oh, I get it now.
Then I just look like an asshole because I fuck with you.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, I am.
But we also are beautiful human beings. And we're not supposed to tear each other down. So you're not an asshole.
But
I just scratched my vagina, sorry.
I just scratched my vagina, but I'm not sorry.
Oh, well, you just watched me do it, so I had to apologize. I thought
saw
you
my
did.
peripheral. Look, I was actually just discussing this with Raul the other day. Like, if I have an itch on my crotch, I'm not allowed to scratch it because it's rude. But if I have an itch on my elbow, it's cool. Like the idea that my vagina is never going to itch, like that's not fair.
Not fair. Mine has a lot of hair on it.
No, that sounds like a you problem.
It is.
Do you know about the kid in the 70s that was abducted when he was 7 and then showed back up when he was 14?
No.
Apparently it was a big thing. Obviously it happened before we were born. But there's a documentary about it. I've been watching it. It's fucking wild.
What's the documentary called?
I don't remember. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's called Captive Audience, I think is what it's called. And and he's such a cute kid. So he gets abducted when he's 7. This guy tells him basically that your parents don't want you anymore. I went to the court and I got custody of you. And then he fast forward 7 years, he's 14 going on 15, he's going to school. He still knows he's been kidnapped or whatever, and he's the whole time being molested by this guy. Oh my God. And then he was trying to get him to help him abduct another kid. I'm assuming because he was getting too old for him, so he needed a new little boy to diddle. And he refused to do it. And then he comes home one day and he was like, "Oh, meet Timothy, your little brother." And he was like, "Fuck this shit." He I don't know when the guy wasn't home, he took the kid and hitchhiked his ass back to where the kid was from because it was all over the news because he'd just been abducted. And he sent him into the police station and he was like, "Just tell them your name." in Ukiah, California, which is where the kid was taken from.
Oh my God.
And then so then he goes in and he was like, I just know my first name is Steven. I don't think he remembered his own last name.
Oh my
It's 7.5 years, right?
Right.
So anyway, there was like a made for TV movie made about him. You remember that Corky Nemen Nelson? He was like a teen heartthrob in the 80s.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, so they're just telling the story and like how fucking wild it is, and then they go to make the docu series, and there was like 5 million people tuned in to watch this. That's like Super Bowl numbers. And this is back when there wasn't like YouTube and all this. It was like I think it was 89 or something like that, that the not documentary, the mini series or made for TV movie came out, and they had gotten nominated for a bunch of Emmys, and literally the night before the Emmys, this guy gets fucking somebody runs a stop sign, hits him on his motorcycle, and kills him. He's 24 years old. I was like, blew my mind. Like that to me is clearly a soul that came here to this planet for a specific purpose. And I believe that purpose was because back then, right, to get this shit, trip out on this. So the court proceeding happened in like, I think like 84, 83 or 84. And they arrest this guy because he was going by the name Dennis Purnell, which the guy was named Stephen Stayer. And he was going by the name Dennis Purnell. That was his kidnap name because the guy that abducted him, his last name was Purnell. So they were able to go find him, right, arrest him. He goes to court. He gets the maximum sentence for abducting the little boy, the most recent one, Timothy, which is 7 years. 7 years, that's it.
That's back then.
That
has to be different now.
It is
right?
different now. It's way different now. So then they go and they have a second trial about not only abducting Stephen Stayer, but keeping him captive for 7 years and molesting him and making him perform oral and sodomy is what he testified to on the stand for over 7 years. And trip out on this. The judge was like they would give the maximum sentence, but because he was already convicted of 7 years for the other little boy, they only gave him 20 months. So this man was going to serve less than 9 years for kidnapping both of those little boys, keeping one of them until he was 14, molesting and raping him the whole time. And on top of it, he'd already served time for kidnapping a kid in the past.
Oh, so he's a repeat offender.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, but like kids get taken and they get murdered. Like they don't ever show back up. So this was like a sensational story that everybody it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so then the kid Steven, he ended up getting like a $15,000 reward for saving the little kid's life and all of this, right? So then he's older. He starts dating a girl. She gets pregnant. They get married. They have a second kid, and they were talking like he was like the most amazing father, the most amazing family man, and he was adorable too, like just a little adorable little guy. And they offered him to do the made for TV movie, and apparently it was like playing that role was like the most sought after role at the time, right? And the guy that played him, he's somebody that you would recognize. He's not like a Brad Pitt famous actor, but he's famous enough that you know who he is, or I do because of maybe the generation that I come from, because he was in like the Teen Bop magazines. He was one of those guys. And anyway, so he gets offered the movie, he takes it, and then the night before he gets killed, I firmly believe his soul was on this planet to raise awareness and help to strengthen, because there was so much media coverage on this case. I think it may have been the first time that we as a country, or maybe like the judicial system or something, started to see how big the disconnect was for the punishment for that type of crime.
Yeah.
Because immediately that movie went out, nominated for Emmys, and he's killed. Then, this is a fucked up part, right? His older brother, Kerry, ends up becoming a fucking serial killer. And he's in prison now. So isn't that fucking wild? This poor family can't catch a break. Blew my mind. Blew my fucking mind. I'm not done watching it, but yeah. Isn't that wild?
That's
so crazy. So crazy.
We were watching that one about the guy that killed his pregnant wife and his 2 children.
What?
Yeah, the one, I think it's called like American Murder or something like that. And then we were also watching the one of the lady that got that got abducted, and then she came walking
Oh
back
yeah, and
to
they
her
just let her go,
house.
and they swore that she was making it up. I watched that.
Her and her boyfriend were making it
Yep,
up.
I remember that when they were
That
like, it
one
was
was
like
crazy
the
too.
was the Gone. They were making it like Gone Girl or whatever.
Yep.
Or did Gone Girl come out after that happened?
No, it came out
before.
after. It came out. It was the story. It was like loosely based on that.
Was
True.
okay.
Yeah, that.
I never saw that movie.
I never saw it either. I tried to watch it after I watched that documentary, and I didn't like it.
I
It's
felt
supposed
like
to be really good though. It's like supposed to have one of
no, I
them.
feel like Gone Girl was based. Oh no! I heard another true crime, I think, podcast that where the woman actually like did a whole Gone Girl thing.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that was wild, and nobody believed her. That one was
Nope.
fucked up.
No, and then they ended up doing all kinds of research, or like
It was another cop from another town
Yep.
that put all the pieces together, and she's the one that figured it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was crazy. But the one in this, the other one that we're still watching, or that we watched a documentary on Netflix about, and now we're like into watching this stuff about like body language, like the experts that can read body language really well. I don't know why that's so interesting to me right now, but
or like the lie detector people.
Oh my god! Like these guys are just like very very well versed in like psychological stuff and sociological cues or whatever it is that they're so versed in, that like he can tell that from this video of the guy breathing, taking a deep breath. He's not just deeply breathing, but his anxiety is being raised. He's pressing he's rubbing his chest as a self-soothing matter.
Oh yeah,
like you would never even think that as like a regular person. Like I just thought that was interesting. But anyways, yeah, he killed his wife, who was like 14 or 15 weeks pregnant, and his own 2 children.
Why?
In his own house. I have no idea. I watched the documentary, and I didn't feel like there was a reason for it.
That's always the weirdest.
I know. Like she was just a stay-at-home mom. It was so weird. But he loaded all 3 of them into his own truck that he had halfway backed into his own garage.
Oh, is this the one where he owned a business and it was like one of the work trucks that he borrowed from his employee or something, and that he kept telling his employee that it was being cleaned?
Yeah, and then his neighbor is the one who's
and then he like dropped her body parts off at like all these different locations.
Yeah, it was weird.
I think I heard a podcast about it.
The kids, he dropped into a fucking oil silo.
Ew.
So they had to dig the kids out from inside the oil. And they were just little kids. Ugh,
people are
fucking
gross.
Crazy, dude.
Did you know Casey Anthony's trying to be on TikTok now?
No.
You know who she is, right?
Yeah.
The one that killed her daughter and was like saying that Xanny, which is clearly like she just fucking loading her with Xanax so that she'd pass out and have to deal with her. That Xanny the nanny was watching her.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
I never heard that story. I know who she is, but I never actually heard the story.
The short version of the story is that she's a fucking drug addict. Wow. And she has a child that's when she's too young, and she's living with her parents, and her parents are co-signing her bullshit, and she's off like constantly with her daughter, like partying with her boyfriend and all this shit. And they're always like, oh yeah, this girl Xanny watches her for free that I work with at, I don't know, it was like fucking SeaWorld or Disneyland or Universal Studios or some shit. And nobody was like, that's weird, why would she watch her for free? But what's Xanax called? Fucking Xannies. And this girl's a drug addict. So what I think was going on is she was drugging the little girl with Xanax so she'd pass out, and then she could go party and not have to deal with it. Anyway, long story short, she was driving her parents' car. She abandoned it because it ran out of gas. Then it got towed. The parents get the car back, and the mom like opens the trunk, and there's this rank, terrible smell, and there was like a bag in there. So the mom just got rid of the bag because it smelled so bad.
Wow.
Which I've never smelled a decomposing body, but from what I understand, it's a very distinct smell, you know. And they've basically there was like a gardener or somebody that I know at least once before the cops actually came out and dealt with it, he was like, there's a fucking skull out here. And he got ignored. And they found the remains of the baby, of the little girl, and she was wrapped in like the Winnie the Pooh blanket from her fucking nursery. And then the bitch got off. And so now apparently it's a super fucked up story. Basically, I don't know. I don't remember how she was killed. I think that she was like chloroformed or like suffocated or some wild ass shit. But or there was like Google searches of how to make chloroform. I don't. Oh yeah, it was. There was Google searches on how to make chloroform, and the mom was like, "Oh no, I was looking some." She was looking up something about a plant, and there's something.
Like chlorophyll.
It's something like some kind of plant verbiage that sounds like chloroform, and that like Google auto corrected it for her, and that's why that search is in there. However, when they looked at the timestamp of when this search happened, only Casey Anthony was home. So our mom's fucking lying for her. All this horse shit. Anyway, she gets off. She doesn't do any time for it. And apparently she's trying to like be TikTok famous, and everybody's like losing their shit over it on TikTok. There's all these videos about it. I was like, fuck that whore. Like, what? You're going to murder your daughter and then just like go live life. Like, how that, I don't know how she got away with it. Do you know about Ruby Frankie?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So I was on TikTok like several months ago. You know how they have those videos of like cop, like the cop body cams?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, there's weird like shakedown of like, they were in it. It was said it was about Ruby Frankie, and they were like trying to like they were searching this house, but like it didn't make any sense. And I know what was going on, so I scrolled by it. And then this documentary came out. This woman was like making millions of dollars on YouTube, and she was like the perfect Mormon mom. And I don't know why everybody was so drawn to her, because like they showed clips of like her YouTube and things like that, and I just didn't see what the appeal was. But ultimately, long story short, she's become so delusional, so fucked off, so fucking crazy. She has like 19 kids that she doesn't have that many kids. She has a lot of children. She had 6 kids. The 2 oldest are gone. And then there's I don't know if it was the 2 youngest, but there was 2 boys and the rest were girls. And essentially she's staying at the house of who it can presumably only be her lover, who was this therapist that was like, there's just too much to get into, but it's super sad. Like the 2 of her kids, she decided were possessed by demons, and she was torturing them to like try to get the demons out. And this little boy, literally, like you could see like all the tendons, like everything, like he starved. He managed to break out of the house and get to the neighbor's house, and he's like ringing the door cam, and there was like a little old man living there, and he was like, "What's going on?" He was like, "Well, I was wondering if you could do 2 favors for me." He was like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Well, I'm wondering if you could well, maybe just one favor, if you could take me to the police station." And he was like, "Just sit down on the bench right there." So he comes outside, and this poor he has duct tape on him. He's like emaciated, like just terribly, starving.
Okay.
And then like this kid's so fucked up. It's blurry because it's a ring cam footage, but he's like clearly like somebody's grandpa. Like he's like 70s, 80s years old, right? He's on the phone with the cops, and he's telling the cops what's going on, and he literally stops talking because he's crying. This little old man, because he's like just so horrified by what he's seeing. They had been keeping him and then his sister like literally like chained up, tied up, duct taped, starving them, not feeding them, making them stand out in the sun, like wild shit. And yeah, all in the name of like casting demons out or some shit. She's in prison for the rest of her life now.
Good.
Yeah.
And that was on Hulu.
That one's on Hulu.
And it's called, do you remember?
I think it's called The Rise and Fall of Ruby Frankie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was wild.
I'll have to watch that one for sure.
She's a fucking like
scary.
She's a terrible human being.
All of them are terrible.
But what they did was they had like thousands and thousands of hours of footage that she never put on YouTube, which are like all the things that she cut out. And it's her like screaming at her kids, and like when she's like the facade of the perfect YouTube mom. And basically their kids were like, fuck this shit. The older they got, the less it was like fun, and they were over it. They didn't want to be on camera all the time. And she was like, well, we're paying you. You need to fucking like, yeah, it was bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Wild.
You've seen the what's it called?
Be sweet, pray and obey, or
Yeah, something like that.
yeah.
About Warren, what's his face?
Yeah, there's a
Warren
lot of
Zevs.
documentaries about the what are they called, the fundamental LDS people. They're fucking crazy,
They're psychotic.
which
I
is
mean, you
so
don't-
like wildly different than the LDS Church.
Right.
Like why? Well, at least the ones in South County. Like
Mhm.
I've only ever interacted with the Mormons in South County.
And that's the one.
amazing human beings.
Was that the one your mom was?
No,
your dad?
me.
Oh, you.
It was me. It was all me.
Oh,
I got
okay.
baptized into the church, all that.
And that was just by yourself.
I started sitting with them, and then like ultimately, like now looking back in hindsight, the whole reason that happened, the most profound spiritual experience I ever had, like dropped me to my knees sobbing. Like God was like, I am here, I am real, and there is no denying the fact that this is the case. Was when I was learning from one of their professors from their sacraments, or their I don't remember what it's called, their little church school. And the reason being is that I needed to get connected to that church because it was that church was the reason my dad lived as long as he did after he got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the bishop of my church is the one who he said, I'll have him see this oncologist. It's a friend of mine because he was one of like the 3-letter like CEOs, whatever, of St. Joseph's Hospital, the bishop of the church was. And he said, I would take my own family to see this man. And that was the man that referred him to the doctor he had at the City of Hope. So that experience is what allowed my dad to live as long as he did, because the type of cancer he had, he would have died within like a year. That's
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you not like continue to go to that church?
Meth and homelessness.
Oh, okay.
This is all before I was on the street.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you would, if it, how come you don't go back?
Because it's really far. Like I appreciate the Mormon religion. As of all the Christian religions, I agree with that one the most, just because they have like the loophole for like the saving the soul thing. Like their mission. So the Bible states that you have to be baptized, right, in order to get into heaven. Like your physical body has to be baptized. They are of the belief that they're like John the Baptist baptized Jesus because he was given like the key or like the blessing from God to baptize people. So they're of the belief that you have to have these certain like priesthoods or like lineage or like blessings of approval to be baptized a specific way according to the Bible. Just like every other Christian church, you have to be baptized this way by this church. Like some's full immersion, the Catholics just, you know what I mean? Like everybody has their different way. So basically they're a large part of what they do is family history, like your family lineage, so that you can go back as far back in your ancestry and figure out who in your family has never been baptized through the Mormon church. And then what you do is you go to the temple and you get baptized by proxy in their place. So that essentially the goal is that by when the end of time comes, if the Mormon church has accomplished their goal, every human being that has ever lived will have, either while physically on this planet or after passing away, me doing it in their place, has been baptized. So if they choose to go live in the kingdom of heaven, they have met the physical requirements so that they can, which I think is kind of cool. Because then there's people, because I remember when I was younger, there's like there's a lot of Christian churches. I think it was non-denominational that I had this discussion with, that are of the belief that like if you were given the chance to accept Jesus Christ and you didn't, you're going to go to hell, right? And I'm like, well, okay, what about like some like little tribal boy in Africa? He's walking through the desert and there's a Bible there and he sees it and he steps over and keeps on moving because he doesn't know anything about it. That's the only opportunity he had to learn about Jesus. They're like, oh, he would go to hell. I'm like, that doesn't sound like the God that you described to me that loves me. Like that made no sense to me, and I could never get on board with that. But the Mormons have a loophole, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So they do. So you go to the church based on where you live.
Okay.
So like I live in this area now, so there's a church nearby me that I would go join the congregation, and I've tried a couple of times since I've been sober, and like I went to one when I was living at the Mall House, and it was all Samoan, like Hawaiian. They were not even, they're Polynesian. They're cool people, whatever, but everybody was Polynesian. They weren't even speaking English, and I'm like, I don't belong here. I just didn't. It never fit.
So was your dad Mormon?
No, he was Christian. Nobody in my family's Mormon.
Okay. I just
had some Mormon girls show up at my house and they wanted to do a book study with me. And I've always been intrigued by other religions, and I really wanted to know what the Mormons believed because at the time, all I had seen was the South Park episode. And that's all I knew about Mormons.
Oh yeah, I've never seen South Park.
It was, I don't like it. It's a lame ass show, but basically, what the show is like, it's like, um, they just talk shit about everybody and everything, right? And it's usually topical, like for whatever's going on right now. Um, and they had a show about Mormons, and it was very much like talking shit. Like you take.
I mean, I feel like that they're pretty misconstrued.
Well, it's basically all of the things that people assume about the Mormon religion was all in the South Park episode, right? I knew it was bullshit, but some of it has basis in truth, Like there's a belief that Mormons are racist, and I'm like, I would ask them like, why do people think you're racist? And then I'm asking like, what's with the sister wives thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would ask them just like that, and they would answer my questions. Like it was really cool. But the first time I met with them, they brought me a Book of Mormon, and in the very beginning,
now, is this their Bible?
No,
Okay.
it's so basically the story goes that Joseph Smith found gold plates, right? That was the Book of Mormon. It's called the Book of Mormon because a man named Mormon is the one that compiled all the stories together. But just like the regular Bible, it's written by a bunch of different people. They've done research. There's no way one human being could have written it. I remember one of the things I learned was that there was like a lot of it's written in Egyptian, the original translation, and Joseph Smith is the one that translated it, and he had like a third grade education, but he did it with like some special like seeing stones that like with God's blessing or something, and that's how he translated it, which is fucking impossible. Just the level of education that Joseph Smith had, he wouldn't have been capable of writing this book, right? So basically, they had a scholar from Egypt, like a professor who taught at a hospital that was like Harvard or Stanford level in Egypt, translate the book back into the Egyptian language from English. And he was very skeptical, knowing full well it was all horseshit. And I guess after he did that, he like proclaimed in front of media and everybody that it was the most beautiful book that had ever been written. Like they're just like cool little fun facts, right? So what happened was is they gave me the book, and then they said, so this is basically the account of Jesus Christ in the United States, which was kind of weird, right? This is the introduction. It's in front of every Book of Mormon. They had me open it and read this. We invite all men everywhere to read the Book of Mormon, to ponder in their hearts the message it contains, and then to ask God, the Eternal Father, in the name of Christ, if the book is true. Those who pursue this course and ask in faith will gain a testimony of its truth and divinity by the power of the Holy Ghost. It was the first time somebody said, this is my religion, and it's the right way, and they said, here, read it for yourself and ask God. And if God tells you it's true, we'll help you. Everybody else shows up and says, you're going to go fucking burn in hell if you don't believe what I believe. And that's written in the introduction of their book. And when I read that, something in me was like, maybe this is real. And I don't know that, and God was setting me up for, how like God just paves the way. Right. Had I not done any of that, had I not gotten baptized in this church, I would never have had, I wouldn't have been able to build a relationship with my dad that I had before he died, right? Because I wouldn't have gotten sober. He would have died before I got sober. So God was giving my dad that gift and giving me that gift by me getting involved with this church. I don't really go because it's not, I don't know, it's just not, I don't, I mean, how would I believe? It's not that I disagree with anything they're doing. They're great people. The people that I've met, I know that like there's different opinions and people have had different experiences, especially like in Utah, they're a lot more strict. I don't really know. But the Mormon church in Rancho Santa Margarita, California are some of the most amazing fucking people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. Amazing human beings. And I love them all.
I think I was only asking because I was wondering if there was like something like that happened that like other than
I was loaded and I ended up on the streets, and I tried to go back to a church that was nearby me, and it just wasn't for me. And I like Raul and I met with a couple, because they still have my information and they'll contact me here and there and ask if I'll meet with them. And we went and met with him, and he got the book because he was really curious too. It's just,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
interesting.
I think everybody's curious. It's kind of like if I could figure out what the fuck Scientology was about. Like, I want to know. Like a lot of like the Mormon religion is not like some closed religion that you can't find information on, but for
Right.
some reason nobody knows anything about it and they assume the worst.
Right.
And so and they seem like they have this veil of secrecy that they don't. So I think when people get the opportunity to like ooh, what do they believe? It's like intriguing, you know?
Yeah. Heather was raised Mormon too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always ask her questions about it too, just because it's just not talked about
No,
like
and you don't meet
openly,
a whole
like
yeah, and you don't meet a whole lot of Mormon people, you know?
right, right.
But
My whole like my mom's whole side of like my grandma's side of the family on my mom's side is like basically all Mormon.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
like
they all live in Utah.
so there's some really cool aspects of the church, right? So like church is 3 hours long, but you don't sit in church for 3 hours. So the first hour is sacrament, which is like the regular church part. The men that are like in charge of the church, there's no like they're there to do like the clerical work, right? There is no preacher. You don't listen to the same person share a message every week. What they do is they pick different members of the congregation, they give them something to talk about, and then they have a talk. And it's usually like it was like 3 or 4 people that would talk like 15 to 20 minutes. And so every week you would get to hear a different person's perspective on the things that that church believes.
Right.
And the best ones were always the kids. They like they had kids up there that were like 12, like sharing some shit. And it's always fire, right? Because kids are amazing.
Right.
So that part was super cool. Like because it wasn't one person telling me what to do all the time. It was like this family of church that I have that they all came together and everybody shared, you know. And then the way that the church is set up is that you, based on where you live, you go to this church. That way everybody that you go to church with lives nearby you, so you have this whole support system and this family to rely on and depend on. The second hour is Bible study. Like I was actually I was a Bible study teacher for the adult Bible study class for a little while because that was my calling. And then at the last hour, the men and women separate, and the kids are doing their own thing, and they have like the women's meet and then the men meet. I loved it. I thought it was fun. And then there was another thing I was going to tell you about the church. It was pretty cool. I don't remember. Yeah, it's just oh, that was the other thing. So the tithing, when people tithe, they don't pass the basket in church, right? You tithe separately. You fill out a thing and you put it in whatever. And all of the money from all of the churches in the entire world go into one pot, and then it's allocated to the places that need it the most.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So like obviously in South County there's a shitload of money down there. They don't need to keep that money there, so they send it elsewhere to go build new churches in other locations or to help more impoverished communities. They have I think it's like the Bishop's Market. I don't remember what the market's called, but they have their own separate store where you can go shopping for your groceries. It's all like whole foods, organic foods, like really foods that are good for you. At the time, I was struggling a lot financially. I had all these people living with me that were homeless. I would go there once every 2 weeks, and they would literally just give me tons of free food. I would just get to go shopping in the store. Like it's like everything that like the Christian Bible tells you you're supposed to do. These people do.
Oh wow!
In my experience,
very cool.
Yeah, they're cool people.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I like.
I've heard those types of things from one of the ladies that used to live in my house, the Walnut House. They used to pay her rent sometimes.
Yeah, they're just good people.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right.
Ready?
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Okay.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye.